We have been talking a lot about those 50 recommendations made by a provincial committee to further the cause of secularism in Quebec. We've been talking in particular about the recommendation that the ban on the wearing of religious symbols be extended into daycares. Right now, it does apply to elementary and high schools. This new recommendation would put it into daycares. Here to help us understand the position of one of the big daycare unions is Anne Dionne, Vice President of the Centrale des Syndicats du Québec. Anne Dionne, thank you for joining us on CJD.
Oh, thank you for having us. Good morning.
How many daycare workers does your union represent?
Union workers, about 200,000 members, and between those, there's about 13,000 in the daycare sector, which is either CPE or home daycare.
What position is the union taking on this recommendation from the provincial committee?
Well, the position right now, I mean, it's we're just commenting. It's hard to. This is a report that's been ordered by the government, which has few recommendations that obviously sounds like what they were hoping to get. That's my first reaction. But I mean, those are just recommendations. We'll see what the government will wish to do with it. And our first reaction is, why are we putting energy on this right now? There's a shortage of staff. We haven't heard anything, any problem on the floor. We don't hear anything from our members that there are problems about that. Is this really affecting? Because we have to remember this is from 0 to 5 years old. We're like the toddlers part of the kids, and our priority at the daycare or the early childhood, CPE, petite enfance, the priority are basic learning such as kindness. If this has an impact, the secular has a big impact on those kids. We haven't heard anything about that. So let's see if there's actually a problem, first of all. And because there's already a secular educative program that all CPE and home daycare have to follow. So that's our first reaction is, why would we do that? And what kind of impact is that going to have on already shortage of staff?
You said that you've never heard any complaints from your members about this happening in daycares. Have you ever polled your members to find out how many of them wear a religious symbol at work?
No, I mean, it's not a question that is been asked when you hire or when we have them sign our union our union cards. I mean, we wouldn't do that. This would be discrimination. But no, so we don't have any numbers. We don't know how many that would be effective, although they're talking about using a grandfather law or a grandfather clause, shall I say. So for our active member, they would be protected by that. But there's such a big roulement. There's a lot of in and out in this sector. So the grandfather laws would be good for a bit. But I mean, there's still so many that comes in every day, every week, new hirings that we don't. Is it a good idea to start eliminating some of the applicant? All we want right now is qualified educators that will make sure that we have enough places for all the kids out there that need a place.
Based on what you said, if the government decides to adopt this policy and extend the ban into daycares, you would at hiring have to ask candidates whether they wear a visible religious symbol, would you not? You've just called that discriminatory.
Well, yeah, they would have to. I mean, if it becomes a law, then they would have to. But right now we are not, because you were asking me how many people, but we are not right now. We are not documenting it. I mean, why would we have been asking that? So yes, they would have to ask, and they would have to discriminate with those people, because that would be the purpose of the bill. But again, there's no bill right now. Let's not just go too fast right now. It's not in effect yet. It's only a report.
It sounds as though you're hoping the government will choose not to open this particular can of worms.
Does it sound like that?
Yeah, just a little. Well, I mean, you've talked about the hiring possibilities, the fact that there's a shortage of workers. There's a lot of, I think HR professionals call it churn. There's a lot of churn. There's a lot of in and out among workers in the system. It sounds like a bit of a nightmare to introduce this type of ban.
Well, I don't think it would be a good idea, that's for sure. I mean, it would be complicated. It would complicate the hiring. And like I said, right now it would be wiser. There you go. It would be wiser to put our energy somewhere else, where we need it. We need to look at the well-being of the kids. We need to look at make sure that there's enough places for every kid out there, so women can actually go back to work. Yeah. Hopefully, if they do decide to go forward, hopefully they will take the time to analyze clearly what the impact of such a law would do.
On employment, do you mean?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So you're worried about daycare spaces disappearing because of a lack of manpower if the ban goes into effect?
Well, as it is, there's already a shortage of staff or a lack of manpower. So if we are deciding to push aside part of the applicants, we're not going to help ourselves. That's our pretension. That's what we think it's going to happen. But like I said, we just got the report. We haven't done any numbers on this, but that's our first reaction is, seriously? And is there really a problem that we need to address here? No.
Would you say that the number of workers missing in the system right now, this lack of manpower, are we talking hundreds of workers really needed, or several thousand workers needed? Just how severe is the manpower shortage at this time?
At this time, I was trying to get the numbers. We don't have the numbers from this year, unfortunately, but what we've got as numbers is every day there's about 10 new educators that is being hired. So that's how many people that is coming in the system right now, and there's still places where we're still missing educators a lot. So I don't really have the numbers, so I don't want to say any kind of numbers just to say. But we know there is in 2024 there was over 3,000 vacant job in 2024, so last year. I don't have the number this year, but that was the number for last year. It was 3,000.
You mentioned that the program, the pedagogical program or the educational aspect of the daycares is regulated and is secular. It's a secular program. Could you elaborate on that?
Well, it's been in effect for a while now, and it is already there, and they need all the educators, all the CPE, all the daycare need to be following that neutralité. They cannot teach within the religious or any kind of religious. They cannot impose. They cannot. So it's part of the program right now, and every CPE mainly, but also all home subsidized daycare. They need to follow that program. So if there's any staff or personnel or whoever that is not going according to this program, well, there's action that can be made by then. Because according to that program, you're supposed to be following. And what we hear is that everybody's following that program, or we don't see any problems with the program. There we go.
And Dionne, thank you very much for the interview.
Well, thank you for having us. You have a good day now.
You too. And Dionne, Vice President of the Centrale des Syndicats du Québec.